Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
On your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, we have the one and only Bradley Gross here of the Santa Clarita Grocery, and we're speaking about food.
Wonderful. What a
Yes.
great topic.
And
Everybody
food-
needs it.
Absolutely, especially seniors
That's right.
who need correct food.
That's right.
Ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So Bradley,
So it's
You
good
know,
to have you here.
great to
It
have
is
you.
such a pleasure.
As usual. And, I've always just wondered, Bradley, how do you bring food to our community? There's a concept of purchasing and recycling and all this other stuff.
Right.
But how, and you've been doing it for so long here.
7 years this year.
Feeding and giving health to many people, seniors, but kids and everybody else, families in this community. How do you do it?
It's a complex process, but one thing that happened in the state of California 3 years ago, they passed a Senate bill. It's called SB 1383, and that required all the major food retailers to not throw the food in the dump and just put it in the dumpster, but to give it a second chance. And it's not expired. You still got a week or two on it, but to contribute that to food banks so that it extended the life of the food. And that really made a big difference because it made all the food retailers aware of the fact that although there's a best buy date, that is not the end date of the food.
That's right.
So you have a 2-week window of food that's getting repurposed. And the key to this is the hustle. Because we get it and we flip it. We try to do it every other day so that that food can still be have a 2-week window on the perishable. But of course on the canned goods, dry goods, mac and cheese, peanut butter, jam, that can go, for a couple months. That's not.
Tell us about the hustle, though. I mean, I think that's an interesting concept, and we were just talking about athleticism before we, before we went on. Hustle means moving.
Right. There's two things to that. It's called volunteerism. That's what is the overarching thing. But the hustle is being nimble and being quick on our feet. So I'll get a text message, say at 6 a.m. from Costco. Hey, we have 2 pallets of food today. Can you get them? Out of the blue, it wasn't on our schedule. It wasn't part of our daily pickup, assigning a driver to it.
So you have to hustle then.
So we hustle. We pick it up. We get it to the warehouse. And the way the grocery is set up, and by the way, I wanted to say, Barbara, that I ordered special weather for you today so you would feel like you were at home. I just had to put that in. It's been sunny all week, and then I thought, all right, we need a cloudy day for Barbara.
That's right.
92 degrees a
From
few days ago.
From
When
England.
Yes, when I
What a
woke
treat.
up this morning, I opened the kitchen thingies,
And it said, welcome
shutters,
home.
and I thought, oh, it's gray out there.
Right,
You felt right at home, I bet.
right.
I've been transported.
After over 70 years, I feel at home.
Right on.
It's closer to 75 now.
Right.
Oh,
So,
no, it's more than 75.
is it?
Because I came when I was 10 and a half. And I'm 88 and a half now.
Wow. 88 and a half years of almost all sunshine.
Yeah, and I feel
Almost 80
great.
years now then
Yeah.
for you, Barb.
Wow.
I'm going to hit 90 soon.
Do us a favor, bring back the sunshine once in a while.
The sunshine's always here.
Yeah, when
So
you're here.
seldom it's like this.
Right. So back to the question, the system that we're set up, which we innovated, was we have three teams. The volunteer drivers, they're a transportation team run by Barry. So we have 15 drivers that pick up multiple times a day and week.
Good
Volunteer before they go to work. They've got to be able to lift 60 pounds so that most of them are fit, or they have a team of people. That goes into the warehouse. We have an intake team Monday through Saturday from 9 to noon. They QC everything, prep for distribution, and then set aside that which is not fit for humans, which we call exhausted produce. That goes to the animal farms. And then the third gear in this system is the distribution team. None of the three really work together, but they are all critical to getting that food in a very nimble and being quick on our feet and getting it right back out to our community.
Now, are these all separate people doing these jobs, or do some of the people do all of the jobs, or a
Some
couple
do
of the
all,
jobs?
but they're separate teams. So we have 12 teams a week that have to be mobilized, all volunteer, that get to participate in this giving back into our community. And really, we launched this with fun in mind. You usually think of charity as people are struggling, having a hard time. We thought, what measure can we bring in this to where people are enjoying their time spent with us? And really, fun was our number one word. And so we have fun. Every distribution, every team, we have music going. There's a beat in people's steps. And what this has done on our team, but also in our community, it's formed these groups of people that never would have been friends. And they get to see each other every week. They're now buddies. And then what we're seeing at the distribution days is the people that come, they can either pick up groceries Monday night, Wednesday night, or Saturday morning. But what has happened, those people that come on those days, they all sit together. And it's formed that community touch point, which is critical for people that say you live alone and you don't really talk much with people. So you get that social intercourse, that connection, where you can just see they're happy to be together and connect with their friends.
So to me, the most opportune place to work where you see the community satisfaction is going to be distribution. Because
Correct. Right.
when they come in, when you're there and you have something for them,
Right.
and they say, and you can see the kids jumping around, it's iced cupcakes or
Right.
something, and they go, this is great.
No,
this is...
that's when the gear really speeds
Yes,
up.
yes,
right?
yes.
But the beauty in that is we have we're on the list for all of the educational systems in town, and so the kids, the youth, the young adult students, they get their community service points at Santa Clarita Grocery. So what happens?
So they work there for you then? They
That's correct,
volunteer.
and they are our grocery runners. I mean, what encourages someone that's a bit discouraged more than a young person with a smile, with that youth coming to their car, loading their groceries for them, and having that touch right there, right? So it's beautiful the way it works out.
Face, I'm sure.
You can. And one beautiful story that just happened Monday night, distribution, we have a wave of Ukraine families coming right now. And two of our gals, they go to West Ranch. They were volunteering, the buddy system, running together. One of our guests, when they finished loading their groceries, gave each of the girls a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how nice.
That's cool.
It was this
my
magical moment. And for the girls, because they were beyond blown away, they said, "What should we do with these?" And I said, they were given to you.
Take them
for
home
your
and
service.
put them in
right. They were so excited about that. So there's all kinds of beautiful things that happen when you put someone above yourself. Right.
Oh, that's so neat because
is cool.
I love getting flowers. When my son comes down from Palmdale to stay overnight, he always brings me a bouquet of flowers.
Oh.
And I just love it because I've got 4 vases of flowers in my living room. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just sit in my chair and just look at all the beautiful flowers.
Oh,
they're either roses or a bunch of different flowers.
Right.
But it's so nice. It really is. I just love it.
Do you have specific needs in terms of accepting foods from different places? Are there like red meat or chicken, or is it vegetables people want, or canned things? What is it that, people, when they come to your they're asking more for?
Right, right. Well, that's a great question. Our staple needs that we always need, come rain or shine, is peanut butter and jam,
Huh.
pasta and pasta sauce, because from that you can make your family
Right.
lunch
Oh,
every day, right? And I
absolutely
mean, it
right.
may not be like gourmet, but let me tell you, it fills you up and it's good
Yep.
for you, right?
Yeah,
And then
peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I used to eat those all the time.
PB&J. So that's that and pasta sauce. It's great because if you make a big thing of pasta or even mac and cheese, you can have lefties from that and have
Yeah.
it the next day as well. So really, it's the canned goods, the veggies, the dried goods.
How about desserts? I mean, I
We-
could see the kids
Oh
saying,
boy, we
give me
get
those donuts.
we get the desserts. We get the Costco cheesecakes that are amazing. We get all kinds of desserts
wow.
from Walmarts and Albertsons. So we are loaded on the desserts. In fact, sometimes they say we don't need desserts this week. So
Do you guys ever, though, Bradley, do you ever have leftover sometimes where you've just had too much or people just didn't take and then you have to redistribute or anything like that? Or?
we do, and that again, you're full of good questions today. So Monday, Wednesday, Saturday we distribute. Tuesday team and Thursday team, we take our resource from the previous distribution, and that goes to a bunch of community partners that are feeding people, ancillary groups.
Like homeless, maybe.
Yeah, homeless, some people and some of the AA groups here that are having trouble. So it gets, all of it gets repurposed, but then when it reaches that point, that's where we have 4 different animal farms. Hart Park, we've given a ton of, literally tons of food to. But there's several families that own, smaller farms, and they pick up on a regular basis every week, 4 times a week.
Well, and what got you into this business? I mean, you love it, and it's
yes.
obvious.
And it's
Right.
But
rewarding
how
to
did you did you get started?
Well, how much time do we got, Michael? The bulk of my career was spent at Disney, and so it was making magic for children, right? Not really magic, but magical
Yes.
moments and stuff. And one of our local charities, it was having a challenging time, and they needed to rebrand to try to give a little CPR to what was happening. So I said, well, I would volunteer to do that. I know that quite well on branding things, right? So off I went, started attending meetings. Well, they asked if I'd be on the advisory committee. And so we started this big branding project. And then the charity, it wasn't able to sustain, and it ended up closing. So that was my little introduction into this need and this type of charity, right? Well, then all of a sudden the $1 million question hit me. I call it providence is this intersection. It becomes a happy accident that you would have never imagined it, but you find yourself in the middle of an intersection. They closed, and I had this gigantic question: what is going to happen with the people that rely on this, their lifeline?
Right.
So I had got to know some of the key volunteer leaders, and so I asked them, are you comfortable of walking away? Or do we want to find a place and reboot?
See, and that's great questions, because that had to be asked. If you didn't ask that,
Right.
where would you have gone? How
Right.
could you have rebooted?
Right.
But you had all the tools in place.
Well, but it shut down, so we had nothing. We had nothing.
Oh, but you had the ideas.
The idea was
ideas
there.
count.
So there were 5 people, and those 5 people, 7 years later,
Wow.
are still
They're still
our
together.
leaders, our gatekeepers, and they each own a chunk of the volunteer responsibility.
Wow.
It's Barry, it's Jill, it's Bradley, it's Dan. There's a few more. Dottie and Jim, and Lisa and Susan, Sharon that did the gift. So there's 10 people that it's Sharon that did our books, our gift in kind, incoming, outgoing. Like there's so much we have to track in pounds every day of how much.
Well, I know.
pounds
I've
comes
been
in.
up to your place.
Right.
Whoa.
So it
It's
was
a
those 10
sight.
people.
Really? Wow.
They're all
Have
still
you ever
there.
been there, Gene?
Nope.
Oh, you ought to go up there. It's fascinating.
Drive
it really
by on a
is.
Saturday morning
Okay.
and just park and watch the chaos. It's a beautiful chaos.
But it's the smiling faces, the rewards you get from
Right.
doing good deeds like this.
Right.
I mean, that would be the ultimate thing that I
Right.
would want to.
And now,
see.
so you're a nonprofit now, then?
That's correct. That's correct. And we're under the Santa Clarita Coalition that's about 18 years old. And it handles why it's a perfect pairing. Santa Clarita Coalition has managed all the disaster relief in Santa Clarita, from floods to fires to shootings
Yeah.
to helping families pick up
And
from
the food business now.
right. And now, so that's disaster relief. Santa Clarita Grocery is humanitarian relief.
Yes.
So in the food, we also have personal care items. We have contributors that provide diapers and wipes for new moms. We have shampoos. We get, you name it. So they're coming away with food.
Well,
and
in a
personal
way,
care.
it is disaster also.
That's right. But it's
It's
the
both.
other side of it. So it's a beautiful relationship, really, of disaster relief and humanitarian. It's relief in both cases, right? So we have our board meeting tomorrow, which I'm really nervous about, but
Why
I have to
are you
report
nervous?
I have to report Santa Clarita's 2024 annual report. And
Is it a bad one?
it's not a bad one at
Well,
all.
why are you anticipating
Well,
that?
well, I'm subjected to this board of awesome people.
Question.
Questions.
Right. And I always need to grow.
It's
like
not
all of us.
comfortable like this one.
They're great
It's-
people.
It's going to be a little uncomfortable for
Right.
you.
But Bradley, we have it here in Santa Clarita.
Right.
And are there other places that you have helped to develop, or are there other other groups that are doing the same thing that you're doing here, but they're doing it somewhere else?
In the valley here, we probably have about 10 food banks, believe it or not. So
10?
I
Wow.
would say about 6 of those are through faith-based organizations, and so their 501c3 is religious-based. They can also cook food if they want.
Oh.
Where our 501c3 is non-religious, but we can not cook either. We can only take packaged food and then move it very quickly and serve packaged food. So that's a whole nother world, but there's about 6 faith-based groups and then a few other food banks that are just doing what we do. And we're trying to bring everybody together to have similar standards and quality and reporting, so that we're all on the same page, because at the end of the year, March 31st, which is Monday, we submit our findings to the city of Santa Clarita, which go up to the state of California. And that is for the SB 1383. And so that is fulfilling our city as meeting the requirements of reporting.
see.
And the state of
Interesting.
California is happy about that. And off we go.
I think what you do is just wonderful. I just,
Well,
for the
thank you.
years that I've known you and watched what you do, it's incredible the service you are providing. And I'll tell you, tomorrow you will not have any problems with your board. I think you're,
Thank you.
I think you are
Thank you,
gonna
thank
do-
you, thank
I think
you.
you are going to do very well.
It sounds like you have it all together.
Yep.
Getting there, getting
But,
there.
Gene, you've got to go visit that warehouse.
Okay.
It's fascinating. It really is.
Right, I'll give you
But
the.
enjoyable too. And,
Right,
that,
it is.
we have to serve our communities, whichever way you can find. And volunteering, of course, is a big way. And, there are a lot of seniors who would like to volunteer, but their mobility is less. But I'm sure they can play a role.
Right, they
somewhere
do.
along the line.
They do.
Well, the senior center has their Meals on Wheels,
Right,
and
right,
they're all volunteers.
right,
Yep.
right,
Yeah,
right,
they are.
right.
And they all love it. because I get a couple of times a week myself, and they're always smiling face.
That's right.
You know, they really are. They're
Right.
fantastic.
Right. So I'm going to send both of you in the next 2 weeks. I did a thing where I asked our volunteers, what's one word that sums up your experience today?
Oh, cool.
So it'll be
Okay.
30 people telling you one word, and you'll get pumped.
Terrific.
So yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was great having you here.
Again.
Oh, thank you. It's such
Super.
a pleasure.
Yes.
You're my favorite people.
Thank you.
And it's so neat to share this with you and the influence you have in our community. And we hope that we can serve anybody listening. We will take care of you and ensure that you have groceries for a week.
Thank you.
So-
And you've been doing that. And,
Yes.
you know, we can trust that that is what's going to happen. Thank
Right,
you.
right. You're
Thank
so
you,
welcome.
Bradley. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay. You've been listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS, AM 1220, FM 98.1 on your hometownstation.com. Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And my next guest is my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio.
Well, thank you, Barbara. Nice to meet you.
To meet you. It's nice to see you again. It's been a long time.
You know, I think that some of our listeners know that I've been away, but they really don't know the background of you and I and hosting the show. I think we're the right now we are the longest
This is
existing
21
show.
years.
Yeah, the longest existing show on KHTS.
Yeah, this is the 21st year.
and we
Because last year we celebrated the 20th
Yep.
with what's his name, the original
Oh yeah,
co-host.
that's I'll remember this. Gately, Don Gately.
Don Lake. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's what happened when KHTS reopened in, was it 2002 or? And
I think it was because they used to be over in Canyon
Country,
Country.
remember, closer
Oh
to where
yes,
you live.
yes.
But I heard they were going to have the senior hour, and so I called Jerry up and said, maybe you should have these kind. She said, why don't you talk to this guy Don Gately, who's going to be the host? And he called me and said, I want to take you out to lunch. And I said, sure. And he said, you know, we just talked about senior things, blah, 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 blah. And at the very end, he says, well, you know, I sometimes want to take a vacation, so I need somebody to co-host with me. Will you do it? And here I am sitting in a restaurant, and he's asking this question. And, you know, somehow, some way, I said yes. And that's how that started. And then a few years later, he kind of retired from the microphone, and you know, the search started for a second co-host, and Jerry Sarati Goldman said, hey, we have a perfect person who you'll get along with great. 20 years later, Barbara and I are still together and coming back. So it's like
amazing.
the good old days. That's right.
But now we don't have a regular
Yeah.
co-host.
Yeah,
you know?
because it's tougher. It's tougher these days.
Dr. Palucki
Palucki.
used to be,
And,
and
you know,
now we have Carl come in every once in a while, and Pastor Jerry Cook, and who else? You.
me, yeah.
And I think I don't know whether they're looking for a permanent person or not, but I wish they would get a permanent person.
Well, you know,
And then you guys can be guests, you know?
we've readapted the show for the time being. Since,
That's
you know,
true.
we're bringing information to the senior community, and you know, it's so important that we continue to do this in this time of difficulty that we find financial difficulty and food insecurity. You know, and we have Bradley who's helping out so much. You know, we have to make sure this community and everyone in it, especially the older adults, succeed.
Plus the senior center.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
really help out.
And just a reminder, a month from today, on April the 26th, we have Celebrity Waiter. You're going, oh,
Isn't that
no.
amazing? It's been so
Again.
quick. It seems like it was just yesterday.
It was yesterday,
Yeah.
it seems like. You're right. So, and
Time is going
it's
by too fast
the
for me.
it's called Broadway Lights, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And I think, tickets are available, and that phone number that we always mention on this show is
661-259-9444.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, I'll never forget that number, ever.
And how lucky we are. We had a senior center here in Newhall, in this area, close by, a few blocks away. But the community rose up, the city rose up, the county rose up, and got funding for it, and we ended up building a new senior center.
Oh, which is beautiful.
Beautiful. And worthy. And
I know Russ and I donated to the reception area.
Yep.
We sponsored that one.
Yep, got your name.
That's a beautiful area, too.
But
really
this all traversed the time that we were together, hosting the show and attempting to, get the funding and talk to the people and give advice and,
yes.
Bringing Kevin on and, all the participants, Suzanne Nelson, Robin Clow, everybody
yes.
to make sure that the seniors survived here in Santa Clarita. And
it has.
They are.
Oh, my goodness.
And the population is growing.
Oh,
But
I used to look at the coming in when I go down to the Santa Fernando Valley and come back home, and I look at all these hills. They used to be completely empty. Now they're all full.
Yeah.
Nothing but houses. Nothing but houses.
But it's the community. It's
amazing.
structured. Sometimes we get a little upset because of the traffic and the amount, and sometimes the healthcare. I complain about it all the time, or at least comment on it. And but we're growing and we're doing well in that. I think in that growth. But we have to deal with the fires that might crop up. The traffic.
What do you mean
that
might crop up?
Yeah.
There's no might about it.
And,
they do.
We're looking to, Bradley was talking about the Santa Clarita Coalition. I mean, we have to figure out how we are going to harden our homes against wildfires to make sure that we do things, and when we build new homes and developments, that we require them in some way to have less fire hazards and that they don't burn down. I mean, how many people did we see at City Council the other day complaining about not just the fires and can't get fire insurance, but they can't get flood insurance either, let alone earthquake insurance. So, the problems are there, but we've always seemed to figure out, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And that's the best part. I mean, people like to say that we're conservative or liberal or just, trying to put people into a different corner, but in reality, we're human beings trying to make sure we all survive in some way.
And we have a really good city council, too.
Yep.
I mean, people may not like some of the people on the council for whatever reason, but they do a good job of keeping us united and keeping us working,
But also moving us.
It's not only the people who live here, it's the leadership that we have too.
There's no doubt leadership has played a huge
Yes,
role in
it is.
improving and maintaining our community. But, those like our veterans who.
The Veterans Collaborative here, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, they do incredible work.
Yeah, and.
They really do.
you know-
And so does the senior center
Yep.
with the seniors.
Yep.
It's and the veterans,
Yeah, we've
because a
done-
lot of veterans go to the senior center. And
Well,
the lunches there are magnificent.
Yeah, it's been, and it's a coalition in itself.
Yes, it is.
It's camaraderie as well. I think the best part about our veterans and working with our veterans is they know how to work as a team. And they have all different backgrounds, but they work as a team because they know their best efforts will move forward because they're working well with each other.
Yes.
And so this is, I trust so much that when we talk about veteran issues that, if we follow what the veterans want and need, hash that out, we will be a better community.
Well, I think most of the people who do the Meals on Wheels driving, I think a great many of them are veterans.
Yep.
They are, and I think they thoroughly enjoy it. They
Well,
really do, thoroughly enjoy it.
well, since I'm you're the host and I'm the guest now, um, let's see, what questions can Barbara ask me? And one question is, where have you been?
Yes, where have you been?
Because it's been 2 years.
Has
and
it really?
2 years and 4 months.
Oh, whoa.
How did you guys meet?
Here, wasn't it? I think
Yeah.
we probably ran into each other somewhere along the line, but I think we met
And you,
because,
yeah.
like I said, Jerry Cerati Goldman said, I got the perfect person to be a co-host with you.
That's
and it
right.
was you. And so that we met because of Jerry, and the
Yeah, 'cause
Goldmans have done so great in terms of.
Well, she asked
community.
me. I was a guest speaker on one of the programs, and when we were through, she asked me. She said, "You have such a good speaking voice, very clear. You enunciate." She said, "Would you be interested in being a co-sponsor on a show?" And I thought, "What?" That scared me to death.
Oh.
And the first few times that I did it, I was scared to death, literally scared to death.
Right.
But yeah, I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
And now we're in the 21st year. I can't believe that. Isn't that amazing?
So that's a great question, and we once again going back to community and all of us collaborating together to see what works the best for what we're doing. Whether it be at the hospital, making sure it works, whether it be on the streets with our officers and at City Hall. When we work together, it makes things work better overall.
And it's working too, because you're a geriatric physician.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming you're still working, aren't you?
Well, because I've had mobility problems and I've been a caregiver for the 2 years,
2 years.
and 4 months. I've had to slow down.
Slow down.
But
Well,
as
that
you-
hasn't
as mo-
hurt you, though.
As most of the community knows, I'm very vocal and opinionated in terms of not the politics, but the ability to provide a service of health care to the people in Santa Clarita and around California. And that's I've been soaking myself into, to spend my time wisely,
Yeah,
as
and
opposed to
plus
sitting and
twiddling
my
your
thumbs
fingers,
and sitting
twiddling
on
your
my hands.
fingers.
So has been the
Well,
fun part
you-
of 2 years and 4 months.
You also write articles for the Signal,
The Signal and for KHTS, and
KHTS.
for national websites as well. I probably about once a month I get one that comes out nationally, but you just have to Google my name and you'll see
Yeah.
what I've written, and it's proliferated, and when you do it more and more, you become a little bit better at what you're doing.
Yes, you
Practice
do.
makes perfect type of thing, and so that's
It really does. Practice makes perfect.
There's that magazine cover of the doctor carrying his doctor's case, walking through the fields at night. And I think of Eugene, because that's what you
thank
do.
you. Yeah, trying to take care of everybody we can, but we're losing some of that, and I think we have to be critical, not of necessarily of doctors, but of the system, and
But-
we
but-
do have to improve it.
But how many doctors make home calls? I
Not
mean,
a- not many at
it's a
all.
vanished profession
And
as
it
far
should-
as that goes.
And I even on the national blog, I even said because the community that I write for is typically young doctors or medical students, and I said if you would like to have a home call practice, let me know, because I've been doing it in Santa
Oh.
Clarita for almost 40 years. So it's
Yeah,
been
home calls.
the house
And then,
call is big time.
Yeah, because that's when you came over to see Russ when he was having so many problems. You admitted him to the hospital.
Yep. But
And,
I got to see also Russ and his violin playing and
Oh.
things you would not even fathom someone of his stature had done in the past.
Oh my goodness, yes. Russ was involved with it. Oh my goodness, so many things. Before he came to Santa Clarita, and even after he came to Santa Clarita, because he and I and Joanne Darcy started the Community Health Council, because he realized from being a elementary school principal, he would go around and visit the classrooms and talk with the kids, and the kids told him, we don't have many doctors out here. My mom has to go to the San Fernando Valley to see a doctor. And also, we don't have any place for my nanny and my grandpa to go to spend time. So the health network was improved because of Russ and me and Joanne Darcy and Stan Sierrad, and so was the senior center.
Yeah, all the fond names that we remember from the past.
Yes.
So we're going to take a break because your guest, me, is talking too much. So we'll take a break. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host and guest, Dr. Gene Dorio, on your hometown station 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. Okie dokie. Okay, let's go.
Well, the other things that we have been trying to do for the community is, and the Goldmans have played a huge role in this, that we have made proposals to the state legislature in terms of laws. And before Robin became ill, we had one proposal became law, AB 2338, and we got experience in being able to go to Sacramento to testify, interact with stakeholders and the legislators, and then eventually get our proposal made into a bill, then signed into law, affecting only 43 million people. So recently we attempted to, as we got back into the vogue again, tried to do the same thing, but no one in the legislature would accept the proposal.
Well, what was the proposal?
This one would allow oncology cancer patients to have telehealth visits that cross state lines. People do not know that as COVID rules ended, you cannot legally make a phone call to your doctor who might be out of state. It's not legal.
What?
That's the way it is. So,
but how would anybody know?
Well, that's the problem. When the executive orders expired, the national and state, so did that ability to do that. But Robin persisted because her doctor is not only at Cedars-Sinai, but we have doctors at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas.
Yes, I know.
So she made the law to try to get it possible for her to be able to call Houston without breaking the law. And no one picked up our proposal. And when I was talking to Carl Goldman and Carl and Jerry, they said, hey, we know Suzette Valadares, let us talk to her. And 2 days later, got a phone call from Senator Valadares' office, and they authored that proposal, and it's going into through Robin will be testifying a week from Monday in Sacramento on behalf of her law, which is SB, which is Senate Bill 508. So you can look that up, because if you do, you can also read it and support it. That's SB, Senate Bill 508. Suzette Valadares, Senator Valadares, is she introduced it, and we will attempt to try to get this through the legislature in Sacramento. So, we're trying not to stand still with what we're doing, and trying to still somehow make the community a little bit better in our own little way. And when you have a community where from the senior center, Robin and I put together the proposal, and then the Goldmans play a role and push it into where it's introduced. And our own senator, Senator Valadares, pushes it as well and takes it and authors it. That's a team effort. And
Oh,
we've been
absolutely.
talking about that with everything we've talked about with in terms of Bradley being here. He has a team. You know, the veterans have a team, and we here have a team. And this team has been active enough to where we're making a difference. We're bringing ideas, not just to our city council, but we're bringing ideas to Sacramento now. And like I said, our first bill a few years ago is law now. And we hope that we can, through the support of the community people, that we can get this one going as well. But we'll see. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like sometimes, and you don't know why, things that we try to do. But, you know, we do things not because of self-interest, not because of money, but because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing our best to be able to handle that, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see, Barbara.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
You don't try, you're not going to get anywhere. And,
That's right.
you know,
That's what it
and
means.
that's why
Nothing ventured,
that-
nothing gained.
That's why this show, the Senior Hour, has been on the air for 21 years.
This is the 21st. No, longer than that.
And to
You
me,
and I have been on it for 21 years.
pretty amazing.
But it was here before us.
Well, we're always breaking new ground. We're trying to do things here, Barb. You and I have done this as a team. We've pulled a lot of people along with us, but we've gotten the support of the Goldmans here at KHTS, the City Council, the Senior Center. We've all worked together for the betterment of our community to make it what it is.
And it's an incredible community. It really is when you stop and think about it. And we have so many seniors here. The seniors love this community.
Because we know we're not twiddling our thumbs, because we're not sitting on our hands, because we are doing something.
That's right. Things are getting done, and they are benefiting. The seniors are.
But, you know,
and everyone else is.
We try to pump up the community on the show. We've done that. And especially the seniors, and tell them not to give up. When you have Bradley who comes in and does what he does, I mean, there are other Bradleys in the community, us in the community.
Yes.
I mean, how could we not fail? And if we
right.
do, we do. But if we haven't tried, then we're in trouble.
Yes, we are.
So I guess that's the end of the interview, Barb.
Well, it was a pretty good one. So you want to close this out?
I sure will. We are
Okay.
sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.
Yes.